PTV First Alert Chief Meteorologist Steve Weigel shows you just how chilly it'll be when you wake up, Steve.
Yeah, it's pretty chilly out there right now, but it's going to get even colder overnight as we get down into the 40s and low 50s in most areas. Temperatures have been falling about a degree or two each hour, so we're in the low 60s along coastal Palm Beach County, some 50s now around the Treasure Coast, ready to fall into the 40s in Okeechobee. And the hour-by-hour forecast, First Alert forecast looking like a great night, but as you head out the door in the morning, there is a chill in the air, especially if you're up around sunrise shortly after. We'll see 40s inland, 50s along the coastline, no records, not even really close to records. There'll be a little light breeze coming in from the north, and 40s almost into the 30s around Okeechobee, and quite a bit warmer along the coastline. We do warm up tomorrow into the mid 70s, and we have a big warming trend on the way with another front too. We'll talk about that in your First Alert forecast coming up.
Tonight, the family of fallen trooper Joseph Bullock sharing their first comments on their tragic loss.
As you so well know, the Florida Highway Patrolman shot to death this week on I-95. In an open letter, the family says, quote, "It is with great sadness and a sense of loss that we continue to work through the grieving process and the loss of our son and brother, Trooper Joe Bullock."
They go on to write, "We are deeply touched by the outpouring of sympathy from friends, family, and even people who never knew him from around the country. A special thanks to the FHP family that continues to guide us with care during this time." Bullock's family is now finalizing funeral arrangements, but no plans have been announced yet.
A show of appreciation tonight in Port St. Lucie, a special event to say thank you and to honor a life tragically cut short. WPTV News Channel 5's Megan McRoberts was at a brewery and a barbecue business as neighbors showed their appreciation for Trooper Bullock.
Well, some police officers tonight tell me that since the death of Trooper Bullock, they have noticed quite an increase in people going out of their way just to show some appreciation. Here tonight, just another one of those efforts. First responders getting a free dinner and drinks.
Hey guys!
At the end of a long week, serving up a good barbecue dinner.
Pickles?
And some cold beers.
Beers are on us.
Who wants the food?
The least the owners of Florida Barbecue Company and Hop Life Brewery said they could do for their local first responders.
We just want this to show the gratitude towards what they do, because any call could be their last, right? So we just want to give them the thanks that they're owed.
Sean Lee is also a trained paramedic, and Robert Terrell, a retired firefighter, making them among the many hit hard by the death of Trooper Joseph Bullock.
Been on the job for 30 years. We've all lost people close to us, and so yeah, we know the pain that they're going through.
They wanted to give first responders like Stewart Police Officer Rachel Miner a little break from reality.
I thought that was really touching of them to do this for us.
Miner knew Trooper Bullock personally.
A lot of us worked with the trooper pretty closely. He was my partner's field training officer when he was with FHP. So this really hit close to home for us.
Officers also honoring Trooper Bullock, writing his number on Florida Barbecue's truck with their own names and numbers, keeping the trooper's memory at the center of everything they do.
We're hoping this will spark something with a lot of people saying, hey, you know what, every little bit I do can help.
And other restaurant owners in the area tell me that they do have plans in the works to hold their own first responder appreciation events. So safe to say that this is just the beginning of events to continue to honor Trooper Bullock. I'm Megan McRoberts, WPTV News Channel 5.
An emotional and powerful scene this morning as Trooper Bullock was escorted across the state one final time. Multiple agencies helped transport the trooper's body to Sarasota to be with his family ahead of a final farewell. Hundreds lined the streets with American flags.
Real touching moment. Kind of gets you in the feels, you know, and you see something like this happen, and then it's local, you know, kind of makes it a little more surreal.
Cards and flowers have been arriving at FHP's Troop L in Fort Pierce, where Trooper Bullock served his entire career. Flags are at half staff and flowers sit at the gate. New at 11, condolences for Trooper Bullock from the New York Yankees. The MLB team sent this patriotic wreath to the Florida Highway Patrol. Their message read, "Our thoughts and prayers are with the Bullock family and his FHP family."
Other news now, Decision 2020. They topped the field in Iowa. They're leading in New Hampshire with the nation's first primaries next Tuesday. So tonight in a debate about electability in many ways, Pete Buttigieg and Bernie Sanders face the heat on a debate stage in the Granite State.
Without friends.
Former Vice President Joe Biden, beaten in Iowa, behind in New Hampshire, argues he, not the front runners, can win in November.
Bernie's labeled himself, not me, a Democratic socialist.
Senator Sanders, though, is counting on a youth vote behind him.
We got to bring young people into the political process.
And Mayor Buttigieg says his own age, 38, and his military service are pluses.
We cannot solve the problems before us by looking back. We have to be ready to turn the page.
Senator Amy Klobuchar says age is not the young mayor's ally.
We have a newcomer in the White House, and look where it got us. I think having some experience is a good thing.
And the intra-party fight over health care on center stage again. Sanders and Senator Elizabeth Warren want Medicare for all mandated for all.
The way you bring people together is by ending the international disgrace of this country being the only major nation on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right.
Just so long as we don't command people to accept a public plan if they don't want to.
It is not real, Bernie, because 2/3 of the Democrats in the Senate are not on your bill, and because it would kick 149 million Americans off their current health insurance in 4 years.
Senator Warren is fighting Sanders for the progressive vote.
We've got a government right now that works great for those at the top. Works great for giant drug companies, just not for people trying to get a prescription filled.
Here's what Democrats on stage in New Hampshire tonight also acknowledge. For now, President Trump can boast of a jobless rate at 50-year lows. And if pocketbooks guide votes, more than anything else, watch for the debate to intensify on who best can help Americans find and secure jobs and bigger paycheck security.
Looks like President Trump will be back in South Florida for Valentine's Day weekend. The Federal Aviation Administration has issued a VIP alert. Based on flight restrictions, President Trump will arrive next Friday, February 14th, and leave Sunday, February 16th.
The woman accused in last week's chase and shootings near Mar-a-Lago, as authorities shot at her to try to stop her going through barricades, is not mentally capable of facing charges. That's what Hannah Romhild's attorney told a judge today. David Ross said Romhild was not taking medication she was on at the time, and 2 mental health specialists examined the woman. They're asking the judge to send his client to either a mental health facility in Indiantown or in her home state of Connecticut. The judge could rule in another hearing later this month.
Tonight, the Riviera Beach community is in the middle of a 62-hour fundraiser. It's a weekend-long tribute to 20-year-old Grace Rhett. She was a championship rower for Holy Cross College who died in a devastating crash. It is going for 62 hours, this fundraiser, because Grace holds a world record for rowing 62 straight hours on a rowing machine. We spoke with the first officer to arrive at that South Florida crash site, who was also rowing for Grace.
She was just taken too early. A young lady that was, just starting out in life, at 20 years old, and it just, breaks your heart to see that kind of thing, especially someone that does as much as she did for all of her friends and family.
Money raised from the event will go toward the victims and their families. The rowing will continue until 7 o'clock Sunday night. If you would like to sign up to row, go to our website, WPTV.com.
Tonight, a new police chief in Riviera Beach, a search that lasted longer than anticipated, but ends with a selection familiar with South Florida. WPTV News Channel 5's Todd Wilson with insight on the new chief and his background. Todd?
You know what? Nathan Osgood has worked for a number of law enforcement agencies in South Florida for decades, but tonight he is the top cop here in Riviera Beach. He is the chief of police. Now, his career started in 1987, but most recently he was a major for Broward County Sheriff's Office. In a statement that was released this evening by Jonathan Evans, the city manager, he said that he admired Osgood's professionalism, but also his knowledge on community policing. Now, Evans says that he wanted to have a chief named by early January, but that didn't happen. You know what? It doesn't matter, because tonight the city of Riviera Beach does have a chief of police. His name is Nathan Osgood, and he's expected to be sworn in sometime next month. Live in Riviera Beach, Todd Wilson, WPTV News Channel 5.